I did around $40,000 last month live trading, and this is my story. So first things first, I'd like to state that there are a lot of people in this space that would like to scam you out of your money and not actually teach you how to trade, right? And this is the thing I love about doing social media. I have so much proof that it's almost impossible to not believe it. I have live trading every single day. I record all my trades. I show all my executions, show all my P&L. I do basically everything that you could possibly do to combat against this, because this is the worst thing in this entire space. And I'm about to show you what real profitability looks like. So it starts with September of 2024 last year. Actually, August 2024. I made a choice. I said to myself that I was sick of the life that I was currently living and something needed to change, because I was in university at this time, which my parents made me go to, and it wasn't their fault. It was literally because I had no other choice for myself, right? I didn't really have a path to take that would require my own will, right? It was either college or work. So I chose college, or rather my parents chose it for me. And I didn't like it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't sit in that classroom, and I couldn't just bring myself to do something that is outside of the way that I think, okay? I was sitting there and I was literally failing my classes. And it wasn't because I wanted to fail, it's because I just couldn't learn the way that other people learned. Whenever I studied the material, I wanted to apply it in my own way, and that way of applying it wasn't suitable for examinations. I remember when I was in calculus, I tried to do problems backwards from the multiple choice answers that they gave us, just because I thought that was the way that it could have been done. And it was a lot easier doing it that way, but guess what I got? I got partial marks for it because I didn't do it in their way. So I was in college, right? And I was just sick of the life I was living. I couldn't do it. I was looking down at another semester and I was like, I can't do it. Something needs to change. So this was around the time in September when things with a girl I was talking to broke off. And the day after that, I was scrolling on Reels, and I saw a reel about trading. It was a chart, NASDAQ. It was black and white, whatever. And I was like, yo, this looks a little interesting. I've always wanted to get into trading. So I joined this guy's Discord, and I was in the Discord for a bit. I checked in every day for like 5 minutes, whatever, reading the chats, trying to act like I know what they were talking about. Liquidity sweep, IFAG, all this kind of bogus to me at the time, this nonsense. And I messaged a guy in that server. It was a guy with no profile picture, relatively new Discord account, and he wrote down DM to network. Now you might be thinking this is like some kind of scam. His name had crypto in it too. I'm not gonna say the full name, but it had crypto. It's like, oh, this guy's gonna rug pull you. Like, what are you thinking, Extra Trades? I DM'd him anyway, because at this point in my life, I was thinking that there's gonna be no other way for me to be successful unless I take risks, unless I literally put myself out there and force myself to be out there. After that, I started DMing him. He started putting me on. He wanted to work with me and help him too, because he was relatively new. He's like, I want to get into this stuff just as much as you do. So we locked in for like 3 months straight together, him and I, every single day on calls, and we were really going at it. This lasted until around January, December, and that's actually when I got my first funded account. I got it on New Year's Eve, first ever funded with the Apex Trader funding. And to get to this point, I needed so much focus and no expectation of results. I remember before even trading, I tried to get into dropshipping / e-commerce, okay? There was this guy, his name is Subi E-commerce, Indian dude, drives a Lambo now, had like an M3, whatever. He made an announcement in his Discord that he was taking on one-on-one students, and he quoted that the only reason he was charging 1.5K for the mentorship was because he was looking for people that were dedicated and wouldn't waste his time. So me being broke at that time, you wanna know what I did? I'll tell you what I did. I decided that if I want something, I can go and get it, and it's not that hard to get as long as I put in the work, like he's saying, right? So I looked through every single one of his Discord messages that he sent in that server. 12,000 Discord messages. I have a 50-page Google document with all of those messages and notes for them. I even took screenshots of very specific things about his IRL that nobody else knows, his IRL life that nobody else knows, just so he would understand that I actually put in that work. I even sent him a time lapse of me sitting down at a desk for hours just documenting and researching and noting. You know what he got back to me with? He said, all right, let me check this in a second. I'm busy right now. He never got back to me after that. I spent 4 days going through all that for nothing. And that's what taught me the lesson of patience. Of patience and not expecting things in life unless they are brought to you. So, I went through this process of learning, how to trade funded accounts, of how to use ICT concepts, of how to build your own model, risk management, all that stuff. By the time I got my first account, I blew it. Obviously, I blew it. Didn't have a mentor. I blew it, and I kept going. I kept going, buying more accounts, trying to do different strategies, over risk, over leverage, trying to over trade different sessions, trade Asia, trade London, literally trade. The word trade is all I did, okay? And it was until February when I kind of realized, if everyone's telling me to do things in one way, why am I choosing to do it in a different way? Why am I making that choice? Why do I want to put myself into a deficit? Next thing you know, March comes around, I get my first payout. And it kept coming. I get more and more payouts. And I was like, yo, this is unreal. How are people not, doing this? This is crazy. I'm literally receiving thousands of dollars from this random ass website that I press buy and sell for an hour a day. And that's when I started my social media. A couple months after that, I was like, yo, I've always wanted a platform where I can speak on what I believe is right in this world. So I started my Extra Trades account, and I didn't stop posting. I really didn't stop posting. I was always told that consistency is king, and consistency is the only thing that's going to net me the results that I want. And I know she's a little dirty, but I'm getting her detailed in a couple of days, but consistency. This is consistency. This is the car that I've always talked about wanting. I didn't want anything but this car. Do you want this car? If you want it, then you need to stop lying to yourself. You need to stop telling yourself what you think is right versus what is actually right. So if what is right is trading once a day during New York Open and trading one strategy and getting off after one loss is right, then why aren't you following that? Do you actually want this car, or do you think that you want it? Because if you actually wanted it, you wouldn't be watching this video. Maybe you'd be watching it just to get more of my content because you love me so much. Haha, I love you too, bro. But bro, I'm literally fucking 20. I dropped out of fucking uni and I have this shit just because I press buy and sell once a day. Not twice, not 3 times, not 4, not 5, not all sessions, not once. Once, okay? Sometimes you need to just sit with yourself and ask yourself on a deep level, is this a life that I want to live? Because when I was coming up on this, I was looking at everyone else around me. They all said, I want to do this, I want to do that, but they're not doing it. They're still going out. They're still getting drunk. They're still wasting their time. They're still blowing their money. So I'm like, how are you expecting results that come out on top of your words with your actions, but you're not doing the action? Instead, you're just saying that you want it. Because there's no person in this entire world that would be worse to lie to rather than yourself. The worst person you can lie to is yourself. Nobody else. I used to lie to my parents. I used to lie to my friends. I used to lie to everyone, especially myself. I was the worst of the worst. If you think your life is bad, the position that you're in is bad, you should have seen me. I was justifying the lies like this. And then I changed. I believe anyone can change. I believe anyone can do it. Because I did it. I did it. I did it. Do you get that? I did it. From here to here. And there's still so much more to go. All you need to do is just make that choice. And when you make the choice, you follow through with it. That's where most people mess up. They'll have the little dopamine spike where like, yeah, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm gonna start trading profitably, blah, blah, blah. And then 99% of people fall off when it actually comes to do these things. That's where winners are made, in this category. And there's a reason why it's only top 1% of people that pass challenges are profitable. It's because the rest of them don't want to follow through with their word. And I feel like that's the number one killer when it comes to making profitable traders. Just following through with your word. That's all you need to do. Because if you are in control of your own life and you can make the decisions that make your life turn into what you want it to be, then you need to respect that and respect yourself. Do you get that? Like, do you actually understand what I'm saying, or are you just listening? Because if you actually understand, then you're on a good path. If you're just listening, then you need to change the way that you listen and understand more. That's the problem I had in school. I was always understanding, not listening. You're expected to listen and comprehend, and then put those thoughts onto a piece of paper. I understood. I was always getting these hypothetical problems in school. I'm like, these are so fucking stupid. These are never going to be applied in IRL. When I was in college, bro, I was thinking that, if I'm going to be learning accounting, business development, I'm going to be learning macroeconomics, microeconomics, financial economics, all this kind of stuff, and applying it to like real world situations in big companies, how can I be expected to do that if I don't even know the steps together? Like, you're thinking up here and they're teaching up here when like you're down here. And you need to learn the steps in between. That's what they're missing. Like, I'm not understanding this properly because there's no steps to solidify my movement towards that goal. It doesn't make sense. How can I learn about accounting for hundreds of millions of dollars when I can't even like know what a business is? You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to say the best way I can, but like, they teach you what's up here when you don't understand anything in between. You just listen and learn. It doesn't make sense, bro. So if you're just listening to this, you need to change the way that you listen. You need to understand what I am saying. Do you want this life? Because if you want this life, you need to do the things that make sure this life happens. If you aren't doing the things, it's not going to happen. Put simply, that's it. That's literally it. Okay? That's literally it. That's it. That's it.